To the cloud. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our movie club. Today we will discuss the movie Minority Report. And we had a pre-warm session now, and teacher Lee told us that the word report, it's never changed its stress, right? Like many other words. So report always, Minority Report. Support, report, what else?
So you can tell your British friends you're speaking American English.
Well, actually, teacher, you have a bad influence to me. They always say that I sound like an American, but
A Russian American.
Russian American.
Very good. I'm doing a good job then.
Okay, I just post cast to our chat. Can you see it? John Anderton, Lara. Can you see?
No.
It didn't show up in the chat.
Okay, let me do it again.
Well, and yeah, there we go. Okay.
So now we have characters. So John, Lara, Danny, Agatha, and Lively. It's a pun, right? With her lively surname, I guess, because she was killed, and the mysterious murder victim, and she was a mom of Agatha as well.
Okay, we say Agatha.
Agatha. Leo Crow, Dr. Iris Heinemann. So okay, we have all the names. Let's start with the story. Sergey, could you?
Yes, 2054 years in Washington, John Anderton escaped of police, and he is the head of Department of Prevention of Crimes. This department has three forecasters who show their vision and about future crimes. This vision they can see on the spatial screens, and after this screens, spatial system created balls with name of victims and with name of murderers, and they have definition time of crime, and they started to prevent this crime. When the police department arrived to the place of crime, they arrested potential murderers, and after that they put to spatial capsules in the prison.
Okay, we will discuss more this capsule, this prison, this jailing system, and all these things. So it's a department of pre-crime, right? Like preventing the crime, not allowing to crime even take place. So just take it before. So and you say it's one ball is for victim, another ball is for how we call it, crime.
Perpetrator, the perp.
Perpetrator, okay, perpetrator, one is a victim, one is perpetrator. And in the movie they said, because this name made like carved, can I say carved on a wooden ball, it cannot be forged or something. I didn't understand that part at all, so why it cannot be forged, or maybe if you know, please share.
Yeah, I guess maybe they're saying that the way the machine cuts the wood is unique to the machine, so you can't make one at home and bring it in and put it there.
Yeah, it's interesting, because if you can, right, if you can carve the ball, so you can kill whatever you
right.
Whatever you want. Any person. Okay, what else? I had a question, but forgot. Okay, let's continue. So it's a pre-crime department, and there are three mediums or oracles. They can predict the future. They can show the future. And I watched this moment with my boy when they show this memory, and he said, "Our memory cannot be so bad. So it's only scene by scene and without any details." But I think it's how our memory works. We don't remember many details, just the common story. Gert? Oh, sorry, teacher Lee?
something that the synopsis focused on or clarified was the precogs can tell you who, when, how, the sequence of events. They can tell you everything but where.
Mhm.
So Anderton's job is to look at the memories that the precogs come up with, and by looking at the clues, he's trying to figure out where it's going to happen so they can quickly send people there to stop the crime. So that's kind of what his job is. Where is it going to happen?
Yep, yep. It's like a detective of the memory. You look on this and you decide where it is.
He looks for landmarks, you know, if he sees the Eiffel Tower, it's going to happen in Paris, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. If
I,
he
I,
recognizes a neighborhood.
I was impressed by his erudition or something. He said, "This red brick, it's used in one neighborhood on the south. Let's go there." Unimaginable. Gerard, could you continue, please?
Okay. We can see the first case that they prevent from being a crime. It's a guy who is suspicious about his wife because a man is around the house. He saw him before, and it looks like the wife cheats on him with this guy, and he was about to kill the wife with a pair of scissors, and Anderson and his colleagues prevent the guy from doing that. So the punishment is like the same punishment as the crime was committed.
You
So-
see it again and again, right? They use the device. How we call this device? I don't know.
Helmet,
Helmet?
a collar, so sort of collar. Okay.
Mhm.
They call
And
they
Oh,
like
they call it the haloer.
halo.
And they project you the same scene again and again, so you are living through it enormous amount of times. It's how I got it. It's I would say it's a strong punishment.
Especially you haven't done anything yet. So is
Right.
it fair? The same punishment for doing or not doing?
Yeah,
I don't think it's fair.
yeah, you're arrested for what you're about to do. Yeah.
But it's not the same.
For us, but you see, people, society is very happy. They did not have any crime for 6 years or so. Very good. Vasant, tell us more about the society or something, the system of preventing crimes.
Yes, the preventing the pre-crime unit was launched in a particular city, I think, as a testing purpose, and it was doing very well. There has not been any murder in the last few years, so it was successfully implemented, and the government was they were expecting the government to install it around the country to make it bigger. But there is a policeman who didn't want that to happen because he thought that this system can go wrong. So he wanted to prove that it's a flawed system. So he was how to say that he is following them at every point, to prove
So
them wrong.
he's scrupulously learning about how they work and to understand, can system be abused in any sense, or it just works right?
Kind of like a government auditor.
Auditor, yeah.
He's
auditor.
auditing your program to make sure it works exactly like you say it works.
Yep.
And they have to have his approval to expand this program nationwide. So they've got to make him happy.
It's interesting where they're going to get more oracles for the whole country, and why those oracles, they are like restricted by territory, right? So how they know that this crime is in my responsibility, but that one,
You know, they're psychic. I'm not sure if there's a range or not.
yeah.
I don't know if they're local, but yeah, they're some kind of psychic.
Probably it's, you know, it's brain waves. They're not going too far.
Mm.
They,
It's possible, yeah.
what's the word for this? Dissipated wave.
Attenuate or dissipate.
Attenuate. Okay, attenuated waves. Okay, Sergey, please, can you continue? We stop it. You are muted, and we stop it on the moment when auditor came.
Yeah, and John Anderton started to interested one vision of Agatha about Anne Lively, and he wanted to find the information about it in the spatial library, but he has understood that this information erased, and he went to prison to find some information, and he started to speak with prisoner guy, and
Guard.
Guard. And after that he went to his booth and tell about it, but we have the problem with some information about some crimes. After that, John Anderton saw one vision about his murder, when in the future, when he killed one man, but he doesn't know who is it,
Yeah, it's a
and
key point, right, for the movie. So he a new like warning, what it was, warning, a new alarm just happened, and he started to research, and then he sees himself. Okay, it's me killing someone I don't even know. So yeah, it's funny.
So he hid that from the other people on his team.
uh, they knew him like in a few moments, and they said his subordinate. He said, "I like you. I always like you. So I give you 2 minutes, and then I press the button." So in one moment, from a detective, from a, I don't know what his title was, but someone important, some kind of bossy thing, he became to be a crime, like to try to hide, to lay low, and all these things.
Yep. It reminds me of 1984, Thought Crime. Just what he was thinking was a crime, and suddenly he's a murderer.
Yeah. But he
Even though, yeah.
even did not think about it, so he just was total surprise for him. Gerard, please.
I'm wondering what would have happened if, for instance, okay, I'm going to commit a crime. I'm going to stay like in a jail all this time.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have known even the victim. So what's the point of punishing him?
But we know that oracle's always right. 6 years of experience. Every time it's kind of true.
But I guess they need to see something that the crime was about to be done, committed, like the one to the guy who was about to kill his wife with a pair of scissors. That's obvious. But if Anderson is in a room and he doesn't know even Leo Crow, what was the point of punishing him? I don't
Okay.
know.
Teacher Lee?
This is the key point. Okay. Yvonne just said the precogs are always right. Okay.
It's what they assume. Right?
Okay. But they are not always in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes one person will differ from the other two. So when the one person differs from the other two, that's called a minority report.
Mm-hmm.
So when Anderton found out he was going to be a murderer, he wondered, am I a minority report? If two say no and one says yes, he can clear himself. He can prove himself innocent. So he immediately started researching to see how to find out if the three precogs disagreed on his being a murderer. So he went to see a woman called Dr. Heinemann, who did the research for the program, to ask her how to find out if they could be in error or not, trying to clear his name. So that's where the title comes from. He has to prove that his being a murderer is just a minority report. One said yes and two said no, in which case he's okay. But if all three said yes, he's in trouble. Okay, so
Vasant, please.
Yeah, in the beginning, they showed a sample crime and how they avoided it. But I wonder why didn't they made something else? Because that guy has a valid reason to commit a crime. But if they have shown a real serial killer or someone else who is trying to rape a girl, so that is a sole crime, then we, as an audience, we might have believed that this system is infallible. Then they would have introduced the twist point that John is going to commit a murder. Then it would be a real surprise. But I wonder why did they show this sort of example at the beginning? I don't know.
Vasant, I think what you said it's very interesting. You know, you mentioned something like valid reason to make a crime. But there are no such reasons in the society, you know. So you can have a reason to make a crime, like a motive, right? So I don't know, your wife cheated on you, right? And you have a reason, but sometimes you don't have a motive. So that how they call it, crime of passion or something. So you didn't have a motive, and then you just on a spur of moment shoot someone, right? So it's hard to predict. It's a very short time for that.
I think they can tell you if it's going to be premeditated or passion, but maybe not the reason for the passion.
Yep.
But they can tell you what kind of murder. You get a red ball or I forgot the other color.
I guess it's always red. Probably I'm.
No, there's two
Brown.
colors. A red ball means it's going to be premeditated, planned, and a different color means it's going to be a crime of passion, anger or jealousy that happens suddenly. So the color of the ball is important. I think he had a red ball.
Okay, Vasant says that another ball is brown.
Brown,
Brown,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Thanks
brown.
God it's not black. Gerard, please.
An 8-ball. Yeah.
Gerard? Gerard, I don't know if you hear us, but we lost you, it seems. Your video is frozen. And try to reconnect, maybe. I will write it. Okay, so where we stopped? Okay, so he got his, what is this, condemn or prediction about him, and he started to hide. And he went to a lady. What was her name? Let me see.
Dr. Heinemann, I think.
Dr. Hyman, yeah, researcher. Iris. Iris Hyman, yeah, researcher for. He went to her to get clarification about this minority report. Actually, not clarification. Actually, he get known about this. You know, actually, I got this part about minority report a little bit different. I think that he was trying to say that Agatha is the best one in the trio of oracles. So if someone knows the truth, if someone is in disagreement with others, it's Agatha. She's the best. So that's why he tried to see her memory, not others.
Well, yeah, I think it was his memory or her memory that he saw. Because, yeah, Agatha is the best of the three.
Yeah.
She's the most expert, if you will. So she's the one that showed him this image. So he has to figure out, is that a minority report image or is that really going to happen? So Agatha's memory, but he needed to know, was it a minority memory or a majority memory? So that's what he learned, that she could be wrong if the other two disagreed. So that's what he didn't know. Was Agatha's memory right or wrong? Was it minority or majority?
Yeah. And in the few next episodes, we learn about the modern society a lot, right? So they have a well-planned cities. They have a public transport with those taxi, which is very fascinating. But this city is always like a dystopia, right? They have how they call it, iris scanning. How
Iris or retina.
retina scanning devices everywhere, so you don't have freedom. Actually, not freedom, we don't call it freedom. How we call it? Privacy. You don't have privacy at all, so everyone knows where you are. And do you remember how they tried to arrest him? So your taxi immediately look at you and say destination is changed, you're going back to the office. Thank you. So what else you learned about this city, about these rules?
Yes, it's. I remember the interesting moment. It looks like a Google advertisement when the system identified you as Mr. Anderton. You got the advertisement. What do you want? Quest, Lexus, and etc. Only for you. It's it looks like an our society. When you go to the Google, you got the advertisement from your previous requests. It's an interesting moment, but I thought that it's a advertisement collaboration with brands and with the director of this movie.
Well, yes, but it looks scary, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
every machine knows all about you. So hello, Mr. Anderson.
yeah.
Anderton, would you like to take, I don't know, this dishwasher to your flat?
But,
Yeah,
but
advertisements can talk to you directly.
but I
They
think
know everything about you from looking at your eyes.
it looks like the China society when they have a lot of video cameras and the system could you identify it very fast. But
Yeah. Now this
it's scary.
video surveillance, is it the word? Now that video surveillance systems, they have a huge problem because of masks. So they now have to upgrade all the systems.
But I think it's not problem because the Apple update his face identification when you wear the mask.
Sergey, it's not the same. Apple just lose some some security in that. So they made like a broaden, it's not that exact match now in Apple device. But government they need to know for sure who was.
I've read that China's cameras can identify you by the way you walk. Yeah, the way you walk. So now you've got to kind of limp or skip once in a while.
Yeah. So if you're planning something bad, you have to learn how to walk on your hands or something else. But actually, it's not far away. This dystopia in the movie in China, we partially have this in Moscow. In Moscow, every metro station have all this camera with face recognition, and they say mostly that it's very helpful to find crimes who hiding from police. These cameras, and when epidemic started, they said it doesn't work anymore because of masks. So they have to upgrade. Life hack, yeah. Yeah. You know, 1 year before, if you go in mask in Moscow, you will be a strange guy, at least. Nowadays.
Or Japanese.
Or Japanese, yeah. Okay.
So now before you commit a crime, you've got to release a pandemic.
Yeah.
And everyone wears masks, and then you go commit your crime.
Well, yes. Very, very, very good. Okay, where we stopped? I forgot. Okay. This city, he's trying to escape. He's trying to escape with a taxi, with all this advertisement on the streets, metro scanning, and it seems to be hard. And he needs some small detail to change something.
He
Gerard, do
needs
you
new
remember?
eyes.
New eyes.
It was very scary. Can you
Yeah.
describe this episode, Gerard?
Yeah. Yeah, she goes to a guy um, in the black market that I think this guy committed a crime in the past, and he studied and he changed his profession. And it's a very well-known actor that many times play Russian, bad guys. I think.
It was German, guys, no?
Yeah, this guy appears in John Wick, in the second movie. But it's Swedish. His guy his actor is Swedish. Like Lamar, also from Seagull, the old guy is also Swedish
So-
actor.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has to change his eyes and he has to stay in a room for 12 hours, 12 hours, many hours.
Yep.
But otherwise, he can lose his eyesight.
Yeah.
In meantime, the police officers are after him. They can detect the people for the heat, and they have some sort of mechanical spiders, like robots, that are after all the people and scan them. They force them to be scanned, and eventually the spiders caught him and scanned him. But he could be scanned and showing his fake identity.
Yeah. I like it the way how he tried to escape. Do you remember? A lot of ice in the bus tube.
Then a drop, a small bubble.
Bubble, yeah. Vasants, please, your comment.
Yes, first of all, I must admit that this week's movie is entirely different from entirely at the opposite end of the scale when compared to the previous week's movie in terms of detailing. Especially this movie, this moment, they showed that he could hold his breath by showing the flashback with his son. And yes, I like that they had very intelligent team to put these details everywhere.
Yeah, the scenario itself was the word was well knitted, right? So it was everything was explained. Everything has a reference, a justification or something. So yeah, they finally found a good scenario man, scenarist. Teacher Lee?
Just kind of a sub suspense they added to the movie was the eye surgeon was someone that he put in prison earlier.
Do you remember for what?
I don't remember for what.
I can tell you, he was when his patients were subconscious, he burned them and then what's the word for this? And then remove the fire. So first, so sick guy for sure.
So this guy was, put in prison because of him. So now he's trusting this guy to replace his eyes. So he's like, can I trust this guy? So that was kind of an interesting moment of tension.
Yeah, but actually that guy, he was pleased by this prison. He said, because of you, my way was to the prison. And there I learned all the things to live right. So it was a pleasant moment for him. Wasn't it?
Yes, and do you remember the moment they showed the drugs salesman, the person who sells with no eyeballs. It implies that he removed it and to escape from the law, the eye scanners everywhere. So that's so fun.
Underdog, right? Or how we call him. So a hardened criminal who sells the drugs, he removed eyeballs. Wow, something unimaginable. I think we will not see that on our streets. Okay, so he got his eye surgery, but he kept his old eyes, and it's important, right, for future story. And what happened? He started to attack his office, right? Vasants, tell us more.
About the
what happened? So he got his eyes replaced. What was that?
Yeah, and they sent some eye scanners to detect because they had a suspicion that he is there, and they counted all the people in the apartment, and they were scanning everyone's eyes. He tried to be underground, underwater, in order to avoid the eye scanners, but he had to maintain the he he was not allowed to remove the bandage uh, for 12 hours. But so he tried to escape, but the eye scanner somehow intelligent and found his place uh, and try and scanned his eyes. But fortunately, his eyes were uh, changed, so the identity was negative. So he escaped from that scene.
Sans, can I ask you where they got this ice, for replacement?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because
China.
they cannot get it from any thugs. He
Yeah.
could have.
And as I remember, if I'm right, it was eyes of old Japanese senior or something. Because when he went to the shop, he said, "Hello, Mr. Nachigawara." That's your katana or something.
It's interesting if you don't know, China has a reputation. I don't know if it's true, but China has a reputation for harvesting organs from prisoners. So if you need a kidney, they'll find you a kidney pretty quickly and sell it to you. So maybe he got his eyes from the China market.
Yeah, probably. If China exists in 2054.
Yeah.
Okay, how would we call actually this illegal doctor? So the doctor who make his shenanigans like illegally for crimes.
Just a black market doctor.
Black market doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
Because those people, crime people, I say gangsters, they always need some medical help. So they need to help these black market doctors or something.
So you go to the underground or the black market.
Okay. Sergey, what did he achieved with this new eyes?
After the getting new eyes, he has stolen Agatha from the police department, and they went to the room in the hotel. And in the room, he saw a lot of photos of children, and he started to understand that is the victims of serial
Yeah,
killers.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we forgot this subplot completely. Tell us more about his family.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, and several years ago, John lost his son in the swimming pool, and after that, the family didn't saw the son, and they divorced about it. And he dreamed about son sometimes, and he watched special videos, fragment, a small video about son, and when he met the person in the room, and he wanted to kill him because he was very emotional
Yeah.
about understanding that he killed my son. But he started to analyze what's happened, and Agatha helped him to understand the situation, and John became to ask new person about it, about crimes, about children, and the person told, it's not me. Some somebody promised me that when you killed me, my family have been good, would would go to some profits from the government.
Yeah, someone made an offer to him, right? So promised him, you will your family will get the money, and if you if he kills you or something like this.
Yeah.
Well, it's a complicated part of the story, I think. So, but at that moment, we can see a few things. First, it's that John, he actually, for a moment, we think that John broke the circle, right? We think that John did not shoot this guy, so medium is wrong. But then what happened? Then Leo shoots like himself, provokes the shooting. So, and the picture is the same, exactly the same as Oracle says. So it's a circle was not broken. Jart, what was you suspicious about the Leo in this scene? Did you believe that he killed son of the John or something of John?
I thought it was a setup. It looked like it was a setup.
Yeah, it was. I think it was obvious from the beginning because he was so calm, right? He repeats the same phrases again and again. I was gentle to him. I put him in a barrel. So it was like a learning scenario to me, I guess.
Do you think in the future so many pictures, imprinted pictures, you know, a suitcase with full of picture? You have if you had the photos, you had them inside the computer, so you could watch them even nowadays. But that's nonsensical.
There was a special term for this exhibition of victims, but I forgot it now. How they call it? Chichili, maybe you remember? You know, this federal agent, this auditor, he said, I was a criminal policeman before, and serial killers never do that in real life. They do that only in movies and in the books. But I forgot how it's called. Icon or something. Okay, I will.
Sure.
Yeah, I will Google later. Okay, so Leo was not plausible. I guess that's the reason why John tried not to shoot him. Why John like managed to I don't know to not to blow or something. Yeah. Okay, what happened after? Gerard, tell us.
The Leo killed himself or made to kill because he wanted to get the money for his family.
Yeah, but now we know that not we. Now John knows it's a fake, it's a setup, right? And he need to investigate.
And one thing he also knew is that the crime didn't take place at the supposed time. So, you know, future is not determined.
Yep.
I think that's the takeaway of the movie, no? Is the future is not determined. And John escaped. I think he went to see his. I think he went to kidnap Agatha. I think at this time. And
No, Agatha was with him already.
Yes, he already was with him. He went to see his wife.
Yeah.
And his wife called Lamar, and Lamar betrayed them, calling the police officers. So they arrested him and they put the hollow, this device. And the wife, I think she found out that something was wrong with Lamar. I don't know. I don't remember how. About the crime.
Yeah, I like the scene when Agatha was speaking calmly, something about the past, how she saw this boy situation and everything, and then she said, "I'm sorry, John, but you have to run." it was
Too late.
Too late. Yeah, it's too late. So she can predict for 4 days ahead, but not when it's needed.
Yeah, the precogs had a limitation. Like if it was a premeditated murder, I think they could see 36 hours ahead. But if it was a passion murder, they could only see like an hour ahead. So you didn't have much time if it was a crime of passion.
Right. Teacher Lee, what is modus operandi? Teach us, please.
Modus operandi, or usually the police shows on TV call it his MO. His MO is his method of doing something. Like a serial killer, he will always do something a certain way. So when someone dies that way, they say the MO looks like this guy. The method of operation, the way he did it looks like this guy. But if someone's killed almost like that, but something's different, they'll say, this doesn't match his MO. Something's wrong here. So the MO is the pattern that a person usually uses to do a crime. So the movies often call it the MO. So you may have missed that before. Now there's something we should mention here that happened early in the movie.
Mhm.
If you remember early in the movie, there was a scene where he saw this image of a murder, and then after they arrested the guy, they saw the image of the murder again. And someone explained to him, oh, that's an echo. Sometimes the precogs will re-experience the memory and project it, and it's an echo, and we ignore that because, you know, they've already arrested the guy. So this Anne Lively, this mysterious person, he's got an image of her being murdered. And then I think he sees another, I think Whitwer saw another image of the woman being murdered, and he thought it was an echo. But when he looked at the two images close together, there was a difference between them, which means that second image was not an echo, but a deliberate reduplication, a copycat, if you will, of the murder. And that was a key clue that
Yeah.
the system could be manipulated.
Well, yeah, but not by anyone, right? By guy who is a boss, right? Who can watch all the records.
An
And-
expert, yeah.
An expert. And you know, guys, I found the name in transcript what we discussed before. So it's this federal agent. He says this is what we call an orgy of evidence.
Oh.
Orgy of evidence.
Orgy.
Orgy, yeah.
Orgy of evidence. Yeah.
An abundance of evidence, yeah. I mean, it's like a open and shut case. It's obvious. We don't even need to investigate. It's obvious what happened.
There we can see a victim, we can see a crime, we can see his passport and his own.
The weapon, everything.
Yes, that made him suspicious, right? This federal agent, he said it's fake. I don't believe it anymore. And he went to the main guy, no, not to the main guy. How we call him? To man in charge of this pre-crime program, right? Do you remember this episode, Vasan? When auditor came to a main guy.
Yes, he explained that precogs, echoes can be the real murder because someone can misuse the projection. So after once it was displayed, he can copycat the murder. As he was telling the possibility, the boss of pre-crime, Lamar, sensed that he was going to get arrested. So because he committed the crime in the past, so he shot him and to death, shot him to death or something like that. Okay.
And because Agatha was missing from the three precogs, that murder had no evidence. So he could get away with killing the guy.
Agatha was the main one, right? Without her, the whole system is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
he
this-
knew that.
At this point, we know who is the bad guy, right? Who's the fake, who faked all these things. So actually, he faked the murder of this Anna, right?
And
Agatha's mother.
Lively, yep, and Lively.
Yeah, and Lively, and we understand the motive, right? Because Agatha was a daughter of Anne Lively, and she tried to put her back to escape the program. So we know the motive, we know how it was made, but bad guy seems to be, in charge of something. He, how could describe this? He owns the moment. He is the boss of this moment, right? Okay. So what happened next? The ex-wife of John, he came to, I don't know, it's kind of a ceremony of, I don't know, or of retirement of something, or press conference, and he made a mistake. He made a mistake. He said something that he supposedly cannot know, right? He said she was drawn or something like this, and she never mentioned that. So it's how ex-wife understood who is a bad guy, and she took eye of John in the back of evidence of the box with evidences and went to liberate him, right, from the prison. Sergey, tell us more.
I was thinking about ISIS. How long we can to conservate our ISIS for using as a passport? It's a strange move. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but I think that our ISIS stopped to work after few hours without ice.
I guess it should not work. What I know about this iris recognition is that what is important for this recognition, it's important that your capillary or your blood-like structure, network. So if you have no blood in eye, so it should not work.
Yeah. And she took a gun and she went to the prison and she told to guard open the capsules and she took his husband and they switched on the video for police department where the Lamar killed Anne Lively. And after that, they transfer this video to the party, whereas Lamar got some needle and some gun.
Mhm.
And a lot of people understood that Lamar is a bad guy. And after that, Agasa create new vision about new victim and about new killer. And
Who was the victim?
victim was John, killer was Lamar.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Let's stop here for a bit. So, how we call this moment? Revelation, usually? When
Yeah, revelation. Yeah.
revelation. So actually, everyone start to understand who is the bad guy. So there's a public evidence that you can't ignore. Gerard, please.
Okay, something that doesn't add up is the police officers are hunting him, and his eye keeps his privileges. So he can go inside the building.
Yeah.
We can see at least twice. One, he changed his eyes, and the first thing they should do is eliminate his privileges to go inside, to move inside the building
Yeah.
of the police.
In IT, we call it a revocation of your credentials. So you are not working in our organization anymore. You are a victim. So we have to revoke your credentials, your access. Yeah, your access.
In a nuclear plant, when you do something wrong, a security guard comes to your desk and says, "You are coming with me. We're going off-site immediately, so you can't do anything on the computer. You can't touch a computer. You're leaving immediately in my presence." And they walk you off-site, so you can't do anything until they revoke your credentials.
Yeah, so it's a plot hole, but we understand why, right? So without that, he would need a tank to to assault this office. Okay, so final scene. Mosans, tell us. What was the story? What was the riddle?
Yeah, he somehow managed to display the evidence in public when Lamar was trying to pursue John to kill him because the Prigog showed that Lama was going to kill John. So John was waiting at the same place because he wanted to make him take a decision that whether if he kills him, then the system will work, but he will rot in jail. If he take a chance, then the system will be a failure. So he wanted to get an yes or no answer. But surprisingly, he decided to shoot himself. So he died, and then the system is proven wrong in the end. So the government decided to close it. And everybody.
Yeah. This guy, Bizarro, what was his name? He had a very like tough dilemma, right? He had to choose between I kill this guy and I prove I'm guilty, right? Or I don't kill him and the whole system is broken. So the system that I tried to create. So the system was doomed anyway. So dilemma was unsolvable, I guess. What is a better word for this? Unsolvable. No.
That's a good word.
Okay, just unsolvable. Okay, so the system is broken from this moment, right? All good crimes went to the streets. No more oracles. Was abandoned. Okay, what we forgot? What are plots that important and we didn't
Yes,
mention?
we forgot the like a fun zone where people have fantasy. Whatever they want, they can wear some helmet and they can have events. Somebody wanted to kill his boss. That part was interesting.
But do you
Virtual
remember?
reality.
Sure,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember? It seems to be illegal to kill his boss because when they had this conversation, the guy, the director of the saloon, he tried to pretend, oh, it's something else, not the killing, right? So it probably has some limits. But it was good, yeah. What would you ask for virtual reality if we had this technology? Go to the Mars?
Oh, maybe, but I would go there every week.
To have a new one, right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, movie Total Recall. It's actually with Schwarzenegger, yeah. But it's a bit different. They in that movie they implant you memories, but there you just like a video game. You just experience this and forget.
Like a movie. Yeah, you watch the scene.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a little bit of a liberal ending here, and to me, this is a moral question I would have. The system is fallible, but you have to know that it's fallible, and you have to have the expertise to trick the system. Not everyone can do that. Only a small number of people can do that.
Yep.
So do you throw away a system that prevents possibly millions of murders over several years because one or two people could cheat and get away with one or two crimes? To me, I would have kept the system personally and tried to come up with some safeguards against cheating the system. But instead, they just threw away the whole system. Okay, everybody will start killing everybody again. Now we're fair to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Now, probably these systems that we have now with these courtrooms and tribunals and everything, they have much more mistakes than all these oracles, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start in the order. Sergey, please.
Yes, I have two questions or speeches, and one point was I tell about how the U.S. went during 50 years from the human rights, from the focus of human rights to the systems. It's a very fast. It's understandable for me how it works in the U.S. But because when we saw, it's impossible, I think. And the second point, if we talk about system, I think that all system works with fail. And I'm a football fan, and during the football matches, soccer, I meant soccer, and we have one, one
Judge.
referee
Mhm.
one referee who watched about game, and we had a lot of mistakes. 2 years ago we started to use VAR system from, but we now we reduced a lot of mistakes, but we have mistakes a little bit, как,
Less.
yeah, yeah, but
Well, yes, every system is fallible. Every system has mistakes, and I
yeah,
always like it. I always like it the way how it's made in sport. So in sport, they say yes, the referee, the judge, they can have mistakes, but
yeah.
it's a law. They have mistakes. They see that in this way, so let it be in this way. So they can mistake in to like say to the sake of both participants. It's okay, right?
It's interesting in the game of tennis. If you've ever watched a tennis match,
Mhm.
the player can challenge the referee, but only a certain number of times, not all the time. He can challenge the referee 3 times, for example.
Mhm, mhm.
So when he does that, they'll show the camera footage, and somehow it shows the ball hitting the line and bouncing up, and it's
Yeah,
like, my God, what accuracy, you know? But you can only do that a couple times. I guess they don't want to make the referee look incompetent or challenge him every single time. So for some
Yeah,
reason, they limit the number of times you can challenge. But to me, that's not fair. I mean, fair is if I have a doubt, prove it, you know?
yeah. I guess it will happen soon because nowadays we have a lot of drones. We have exact system, very pressure precise system. So it will improve. I read that in Winter Olympiad in Sochi we have a drone behind every sportsman. So everything is recorded.
From
No doubt.
every angle, yeah.
Gerard, please.
So this system could work, because the best thing of the system is predetermined, predetermined crimes. People who wanted to do a crime, they didn't do that anymore. So that's very good because the police officers didn't have to do anything about that. And the second, what I would do is preventing crimes, but at the moment. So if at the moment someone is about to kill someone, it's obvious that this guy was about to do that. Not, many hours beforehand, you are caught because you are going to commit a crime. I would say that's not fair. But if the guy does that at the moment, oh, it's okay. But the punishment at him, I think it's too harsh. It's not the same. You are to commit a crime and you didn't commit the crime, and we like this mental jail. I don't know how long they are going to stay the whole life.
No idea. Well, yes, it's debatable at least. So can we punish a guy for that thing that he did not accomplish? So but we know for sure he tried to accomplish or he will accomplish, but he didn't. So what to do? I don't know.
It's not the same. You are going to you think a crime to kill someone, and you do that in the moment because something, because of reason. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm. Lassans, please.
Yes, like Teacher Lee said that practice exists in cricket they call it the third umpire. When the umpire is not sure about the decision, he can give it to the third umpire, which is from who has been access to all the cameras and records. So they would say that, and the batsmen and bowlers also can appeal twice, I think. Twice? No, only once in the inning. So yeah, they
Yeah.
restrict the number of appeals.
Yeah. So only an insider can abuse the system, not a crime, not I don't know, not a gangster from outside, right? It's harder to do.
I
Okay.
mean, two-person access to the system might be an easy fix. I don't know.
Sergey?
But
Yes, and we forgotten about one moment in the end of the movie. Police department sent the proofs to the small village for living without problem. And if we talk about fail of the system, but after canceling this program, police department open the prison and the all people go
Mhm.
went from the prison. And if we talk about if we compare our prison our judge system now with the judges with the people who take the solve the decision in this system, I think that this system could be less mistakes. And if we have mistakes, we could to open the prison and go and send people to the freedom.
So you're saying if we know that a judge made mistakes in the past, so should we liberate? Should we give like free all the people who he had judged in his career? It's a good question. I always ask myself this question. So, sometimes in Russia we read news that that exact judge, he was corrupted. So what now we should do to all his previous condemns? I don't know.
We've had this in the U.S. where a judge was found to be bribed or corrupt, and they take all of his past cases and they reopen them and they reinvestigate them.
Wow.
So it's a tremendous expense, but we've had that happen over here.
I guess we didn't we did not do that. We just said let's forget about this.
It's too hard, But
Yeah.
but
So how,
I'll
yeah, please.
one more thing I'll mention here, and this actually relates to the U.S. situation today. Another issue that was brought up here was these three precogs are essentially slaves of this system.
Mhm.
They have no free will. They can't leave. They can't go about and live a normal life. They're slaves. Now, even though they're three slaves prevents a million murders, what's more important, preventing a million murders or being fair to three people? So that was another liberal moral argument here. Personally, I would enslave the three people. But in this movie, they said, we're going to release the precogs. It's inhuman to use them like this. Let all the million people die that they would have saved, So that's another moral dilemma in here that I would probably come up with a different answer than liberals would.
It's a very let me put this way. We have a very famous writer in Russia, Dostoevsky. It's very famous, I think, everywhere. And he said once, it's his main motive of all his writing. He says, if the happiness of the whole world will cause one boy crying, should we should we apply this solution or not? So for me, answer is obvious, but for many people, it's different. It's actually what you said, teacher. Okay, Sergey left us. He has some urgent things. So we have a few questions on our Padlet. Um, so what do you think? Is John's son dead or not? It's not clear from the movie, I guess. Gerard, what do you think?
About what?
Is John's son dead?
I think so. But it's not clear. Yeah, it's not clear. But it looks like a pedophile kidnapped him and killed him.
Yeah. It was actually important part of the story, right? This
Yeah, he was obsessed with that.
Yeah, he was obsessed. So, and because he was obsessed, he is what's the word for this? He's not so calm, right? He could be manipulated or something, and it's bad for people in charge to be easily manipulated, I guess.
Great point.
Yeah.
Maybe a black family bought the little kid and uses him as a white sex slave for revenge.
Revenge, exactly. So, teachers, who is Walt Whitman? Do you know him? It's a writer.
He's a famous poet and literature author.
They mentioned him a few times, I remember.
We studied him in high school. I studied him in literature in high school back in 1970. He has a lot of famous poems. I don't remember a specific one at this moment, but he studied in literature. He's a famous writer, author, poet.
I see. So it's like a common cultural sense if you quote something from him, I guess.
Yeah,
Could be
only old people probably know him now. I've long forgotten his name until you just mentioned it.
okay.
He's not that famous. I can't remember a single poem that he wrote specifically, but if I heard the poem, I would recognize the poem.
I see.
But he himself to me wasn't that great, you know.
Gerard, do you remember this name, Walt Whitman?
No?
It was a subplot in Breaking Bad. So Walt Whitman, it was a favorite writer of Walter White.
Ah,
Okay. Another one. Do you think that we need such a pre-crime unit in our law enforcement? Well, what I say, I have a very low expectation from our law enforcement, so I would not mind if it will be better, even like this. Gerard, what do you think? Do you like to have such pre-crime unit?
It would be interesting. I think many crimes would be prevented. And what I told you before, people would know that cannot plan a crime beforehand, so they wouldn't do that anymore.
Well, even a crime of passion can be predicted, but it may not be able to be stopped.
Mhm.
What do you think? Is it something useful?
Yes, I hope so, because all the bribes and all the corruption happens at the human's end. So we can completely trust the machine, the artificial intelligence, because they have no biases. You know, they only count zeros and ones. So
Wow, you just mentioned a very interesting issue. You know, so actually, artificial intelligence, they made a lot of mistakes. Actually, they have biases, and it's a different topic. Let's make a talk someone dedicated to artificial intelligence because it's interesting. I have a few examples where when they were unfair to people and you have no one to disprove the solution or to modify, to amend the solution.
Also, I have read that some programs can actually write their own programs, write their own code. So sometimes an AI, like a medical AI, sometimes an AI can predict an illness better than a doctor, but they don't know how the AI did that. They don't know what the AI's neural network links were that came to the correct conclusion. So even though it's been proven to be more accurate than the doctors, they don't know why or how it is more accurate. So we don't understand how AI works necessarily, which is dangerous to me.
It's a problem, yes, it's a problem. So even on stock markets, we have some artificial intellect that analyze all the deals and say, is it some mistreatment or something? But it can detect, but it can never say why. And so we have, it's detected by artificial intelligence, but then people, analytics, they try to understand why. So it's always hard. Okay, time flies fast, so let's make some slides. Yeah, some slides. And Vasant, you actually an artist. I should admit, So you have to make some exhibition or something, because when I watched all this title, I understand that it's some kind of uncertainty or undetermined future or something. So it was very nice. Thank you.
Ripples in the water.
Very, very nice.
The key clue.
Okay, let's start with this one. Vasant, please.
this is the pre-crime unit where they get the balls and screening the visions to their superior, so that they can issue a warrant to arrest the perpetrator. And we can see a huge screen, transparent screen. Yes, and I like that thing because this detail is also very interesting because this became reality. With the 3 fingers, they used all the mouse click point to fingers, so that became reality. So I like that part. And you can see transparent monitors and right.
I like it. They flash drives. This small, small
Yeah.
piece of glass of something. They put it, and I like this interface, very fancy. And movie is pretty old, 2000 or
Two.
2002. Yeah, so pretty old. Very good. Plexiglass.
That clear plastic material we would call plexiglass.
Plexiglass, nice.
Very strong, very tough.
And this guy, he's like I don't know, like managing the orchestra, with his hands.
The conductor.
Especially, what do we call the word opaque? Is that something for a sheet?
Opaque means you cannot see through it.
Okay.
So walls are opaque.
Yeah, I remember we had a conversation about this. So we have opaque, we have transparent, we have translucent, right? And
Yep, those are the three. Yeah.
okay, let's go. And we can see a black guy, so diversity, it's okay. Okay, the first victim and the first perpetrator. I forgot the words. Gerard, tell us please about this.
So we can see a happy family of this time. The furniture look like nowadays, not something very modern.
Mhm.
Everything looks like if we didn't know, we could think that this picture could be taken now or 20 years ago or 50 years ago, because we don't see anything special, especially new or modern.
Yeah.
So we can see a wife, a man, a 50 years old man, and his wife is also the same age, and a young child who is working or he's cutting some papers.
I remember that wife was reciting something like a poem
Okay.
or something, and child was repeating something. So it's before school, repeating rehearsal, something like this.
Look at that. The way that kid's dressed, that's probably his school uniform.
Mhm.
He probably goes to Yale or some equivalent high school, privileged, rich people high school.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember husband was talking. I'm working too much hours, too many hours or something. I'm working too much, so I have to get some rest or something.
And the husband was suspicious. We can see here his face. He was suspecting that his wife was cheating on him.
And he was right, right?
He was right.
As Osan said, he had a reason to to a crime. Okay, let's go for. Okay, let me describe this. So it's John in his flat, in his apartment. As we know, he's kind of damaged mentally. He has an obsession about his son tragedy, and he's taking some drugs illegally. He bought them on the street, and he spent he spent his nights by watching this modern TV kind of family recordings, right? Family recordings, and he's in what else? And his house looks like a big chaos. Everything not everything piled is the word, pile something,
Messy.
Piled high or
yeah. Pilot everywhere, so messy. Yes, thank you, thank you, Gerard. And that's all. Yeah, so he's actually not a happy man. I think his personal life doesn't look like something good to me. Okay, transparent monitors, modern, and that's all, I guess.
Yeah, I can't tell if those are trophies or what kind of things are on the shelves back there. Nothing's recognizable. Just
Okay, let's see. Oh, this one I like. What sounds, please?
This is the modern prison. This is where they keep all the perpetrators after the arrest. I don't know. It looks like the Matrix, you know. Maybe they
yeah,
can use
really.
they can use their powers this as a resource.
What sounds? Do you remember this film, this movie, Austin Powers, when they were frozen in this capsules?
Yeah, yeah. And, focus light, and I don't know. It is how to say that it's enormous or something to hold more prisoners. They can add it. I don't know.
So it's huge, right? So they have a lot of, but for 6 years program for a big city, I guess it's not too much those crimes, right? So I guess in big cities there are a lot of crimes. I read a lot of statistics because of current situation. It's very popular to read statistics about prison in America. So it's not like that. It's
Don't forget though, these are only murders.
exactly.
These aren't burglars and vandals. These are just murderers here.
Yeah. I remember they have a dialogue in the movie, and someone asked why those oracles see only crimes with killing. That's because it's against human nature or something.
But stealing is not.
Stealing probably something natural.
Looting is not.
Yeah, looting is not.
Gerard, please, let's make this one.
We can see the guy in charge of the precons. And okay, they are inside a sort of swimming pool, a small swimming pool, lying. Their heads are like point together, close each other. There are two males and a female. I remember the two males are twins.
Twins, yep.
The female is the most powerful one. I think maybe because always they used to say that females are more, precognitive, have more powers, more intuition.
When they had a dialogue with this lady, scientist, she said, always ask a female. So
They have more intuition, female.
yeah,
So
more
that's the
intuition.
thing. It's quite, well known. What more? I don't know.
So he wear kind of pajama, but it's not pajama. It's dress for lab, white dress for lab.
Gown? A
Robe?
gown?
We call it a lab coat.
Lab coat. Okay.
Lab coat.
And I remember this exact moment. It was when he was called as a crime, and this guy say, "I always like you. I give you 2 minutes before I before
I
I
push the
start."
button.
Yeah, push the button.
Yeah.
Do you remember how he stole Agatha? Gerard?
No, I don't.
He pushed a button, and they were like like in bus stop, drawn.
Okay, yes.
Just like in Matrix, he flushed the toilet.
To the toilet.
So how we call this a spiral water? Actually, is there any word for this? So when you flush something, water makes a spiral, right? Whirlpool.
Yeah, whirlpool is okay. Whirlpool.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I wondered why they have this button to flush the spool. Sounds looks unsafe at least.
For medical emergency.
And it's also surprising that they don't know where it leads.
Yeah. So it's flushed somewhere, we don't know where.
Yeah.
Okay, what sounds? What can we see there?
We can see the eco-friendly cars. I think it's a battery cars, no smokes, and they are traveling vertically. He's jumping over the cars in order to escape. Yeah, the car design is so funny. I don't know how they will feel inside the car. They might have some technology in aircrafts to balance the gravity. When it travels sideways, it's hard to keep your balance.
Probably they got used to, So it's a modern taxi. It moves by roads and by walls if needed, right? So like magnetic walls and those. I don't know how to say it. Those trunks, they are rotatable if you need to move by the wall. So, but it was a very vivid scene. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Very high technological something. Yeah, we forgot about flying policemen.
The Valkyries.
Valkyries.
Dun, 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 dun.
But this
Wow.
building looks like a very old building, I would say. Gerard, could you tell us about this picture?
Yeah, we can see these devices that actually nowadays they exist, but they are bigger. And here are smaller, and they want to catch Tom Cruise, and he flees. He
Flew?
fleet. How
Flew, I think. He flew.
Fleas, fly.
fly? No, to
Pass
escape.
form.
To escape.
Flee.
Flee.
Flee
Which-
fled.
He fled through the ladder. I know it's something special of America that they have these emergency exits with ladders that go down. Is that
Call 'em-
normal in America?
Old buildings have them, not new ones.
Oh, okay.
We call them fire escapes.
Fire escapes.
Charles, we
Before the day of elevators.
But in Spain, we don't have them.
we
Even
have
though
them
building.
as well on our balcony. So in case of emergency, you go to the balcony, open this, gate, and go down.
But usually these ladders don't work very well because they are rusty. Nobody uses them.
Yeah. Yeah, the ladder's normally pulled up so somebody can't climb up from the ground and break into your apartment. So you have to push the ladder down, and then you can climb down. Yeah.
When I watched this fight scene between Tom Cruise and this policeman, I noticed that they are very clumsy in this jackets. So it was easy job to escape them, I guess. Okay, this lady, genetic scientist, and her, I don't know, animals like flowers. So they behave like snakes, actually. And they're not just snakes, they're intellectual snakes. Because when she said something they did not like, they tried to bite him. So they actually understand tone or something. Okay, scary scene with eyes, scene with ball, okay, spider, Agatha, virtual reality. I'm fine. Oh yeah, this scene. So it's this scene. It's actually what Agatha predicted, right? So it's the key scene of the movie. Leo and John. Vasant, tell us something about this.
Yes, I think this is okay. Once he found out that he killed his son, he said that he killed his son, so he got angry and pointed the gun towards him. But later he found out that he was just a setup. So he was bribed to say that lie. And we can see a huge poster, a banner maybe, on the other building wall. That's all you can see. Drapes, maybe.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but I think it's an interesting question. So how actually this guy in charge, how he faked this crime, Gerard? Do you understand? So what was the first step to fake this crime, to fake this murder, to set up?
Well, so this guy had information that he was a pedophile, and the picture of John's son was inside the suitcase.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there is a circle in the movie. So before Tom Cruise get this prediction, he did not know nothing about Leo. So how to start this circle?
You mean what's first, the egg or the hen?
Yeah, exactly. I don't see a way how to start this setup. I don't see. Maybe you know.
It's a paradox, yes.
It's a
Always.
paradox. So before the killing, you cannot make a memory. Before you made the memory, you cannot get a killing.
And
I
besides,
wonder.
Mhm.
I wonder if they were going to mail the pictures to him somehow to make him find Leo. Yeah, how do they know he's going to see this image? What kind? This kind of a
Impossible.
yeah, a little hard to explain there.
Vasans, what do you think?
Yes, yeah, if he really wants to escape from this crime, why would he keep his gun with him? You know, he might have left it somewhere else before getting into this room.
Exactly. Bad habit. Yeah. But probably they had another gun for this.
Maybe.
You know, in the whole movie, you need the whole movie to realize that future is not determined. But you don't need to go through all this process. You know, someone is about say, John, you are about to kill this guy after so many hours. Stay in a room closed, and you are not going to do that. So that means the future is not
Yes.
determined.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's a paradox
You
of
know the
Schrödinger.
future, you can change it. If you know your future, you can change it.
Yeah, it's a paradox of Schrödinger, you know. So it's, you know, cat is alive and dead at the same time. You can manipulate with this. Okay, thank you very much for coming. It's a nice movie. I hope you all enjoyed it. So
Good movie.
thank you again and see you next week.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, and I'm